So I'm Em,
I'm Tiff.
and we are the Weirdos, Mister.
Yes, we are, and I am excited about what we're about to talk about.
That's right. We are finally going to get to talk about the craft.
I think I tilted my camera.
It was one of our favorite movies when we were growing up. Moved from the 90s, 96. We're not going to really talk so much about the sequel that they came out with. I haven't seen that.
I'm just gonna say no. We're not doing that.
We're just gonna leave that there, and so there are some things we want to talk about. We both have got our drinky drinks here.
I think we're drinking the same thing. I have a rosé also.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
mine's called Sweet Bitch. My loving husband saw it and he went, "That's for my wife right there." I've also added a nice little sparkle for it because I got some edible glitter. So,
oh, that is so pretty. I love it.
It really is.
I don't have.
I don't think it enhances the taste at all or anything like that, but sure, it's pretty.
I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I just have wine. Mine is called Apothic Rose.
Oh, wow.
I only like it because it said it was like a rosé with a dark twist, and I don't usually like rosé, so I tried it and I was like, I guess there is a dark twist because I like this one. So there we go. Good shit. Give it a try. Okay. But yes, The Craft is one of our favorite movies, and clearly, if you've seen it or watched our intro, you know that it's where we got our name from. But it is one of the best movies, in my opinion, that came out of the 90s, especially around that time.
Yeah. A lot of times I watch stuff and I definitely watch it for the fashion and costumes and things like that. So, I mean, for me, I think that's definitely one of the places where that started for me, because I loved the kind of gothic schoolgirl vibe that they all had. They all, you know, the flannel skirts and, you know, combat boots with it.
Yes, the combat boots.
I've worn that a few times, and
I remember your combat boots.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah.
It was just so good. The casting was great. It told a story, and the story, I like that they dived deep enough into each person's life to where you get the character, but they didn't like overkill it.
Yeah, okay, I guess so. I mean, they dove into just about everybody. You got to see everyone's family except for Rochelle.
That is true. But I have a whole thing about Rochelle.
So yeah. Because there's a whole thing to have about Rochelle.
Yes. I think I want to dive into that a little bit later. So I guess we should give a summary of what the movie's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it follows Nancy is our main character. No, not Nancy. Sarah. Sarah is our main character. She is a new girl in town. She shows up at this Catholic school and just trying to fit in. And she comes across some weirdos that kind of take a little bit of a shine to her. There's some guy that she thinks is cute, and he ends up being an actual jerk and asshole, and it kind of goes from there. But then she gets together with the weirdos, the rest of what they eventually become as a coven. And so really it's before she was there, they were friends, but it's like they were missing something. They knew there was something missing, and they were just waiting for her to come along and fill that void. And that's where they all started experimenting with witchcraft, and apparently she's a natural witch, and that's, you know, hoo-ha, whatever. But it's there's you know, a lot of other stuff that goes on. They come together. They have their own agendas or whatever that they want to follow. Yeah, they have their own goals. Sarah wants the jackass to turn around and be in love with her. Nancy wants to, I don't know, be powerful and not white trash, as Rochelle put it. Rochelle wants to get back at the racist bully, and Bonnie. It's Bonnie, right?
Yes,
Bonnie has some pretty severe burns, scars, and things like that on her back that have really kind of hindered her. She hasn't been able to, you know, show her skin or anything like that, and so she wants those to be taken away. She wants her scars to be healed and that kind of thing. So they all come together and they all kind of start getting the things that they want, and it kind of goes from there. And then there's some bad blood, and
the thing that happens with cliques, especially in movies. And, you know, so it goes through the whole, it kind of fits a pattern that you see, especially with movies about sort of like the underdogs coming up. Like, you know, they get together, they realize they can do all these things. It's really, really cool. And they have like these montages where you see them and they're all confident and hanging out and, you know, loving it. They end up, there's like the pinnacle where they're like really at the top of their power, but that's also when you start to see the cracks. You know, Nancy starts to basically lose her shit. The other girls, they just kind of make them a little brain dead, and Sarah's the only one who's like, hey, you remember that witch lady in the metaphysical store who told us we shouldn't do this? Maybe we should listen to her.
Maybe we should listen to her, you know?
Yeah, they're like, fuck you. And she's like, okay. They're like, by the way, I want you to die. So, like,
I kind of feel like whenever shit started going sideways and Nancy was really, you know, it's my way or die or whatever.
Yeah.
And that Bonnie and Rochelle were just kind of like, well, I mean, we've been following Nancy this entire time, and
since before you've been here,
you know, we're gonna thick and thin, you know, kind of situation, you know, because at some point I feel like they were following Nancy their whole lives, so why should they change anything now?
Because murder.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I mean, Nancy said to murder him. I mean, there had to have been a good reason, huh?
There must have been. But I mean,
he was a jerk.
Oh, that whole scene. Are we gonna go there? We can go ahead and go there. I mean, we don't. Okay, that whole scene, because with Chris. Okay, let me back up.
Chris is the jackass. He's the guy that apparently, he had done some stuff to Nancy in the past, and then turned around and did the same thing to Sarah, and you know, it was just in general a horrible guy. You know, went on a date and then came back to school the next day and told everybody they had sex, and she was a horrible lay, and and kind of the thing that girls absolutely dread. I feel like, because it's like, well, we didn't, and I didn't do that, but now people are going to think I do that, and
yeah, it's first of all, there's a term for it. I think it's a newer term, but it's like lying on your dick, which is basically like when you pretend like you slept with someone that you didn't. Lame. And I think we were a little, I don't know, I feel like in the 90s, like with TV shows and movies and stuff like that, that was always the fear. Like, the guy can always just say that he slept with you. We had a weird obsession with sex in the 90s and not having it and stuff like that. It's a whole other video. But that was definitely like the fear, and he did it. And it was like, not only did you tell people that we did something we didn't do, you told them that I was terrible at it, which I feel like was just, you know,
that's an extra little little dig.
Yeah. And when I watched the scene when they were like at the rooftop whenever he's like trying to get her to go back to the house.
Mhm.
I was like, they had a conversation about the sizes and shapes of people's heads, and then he's like, okay, so go home with me. I was like, you have nothing else to say, and then you want me to go home? And she's like, no, I don't want to. The look on his face was so like, how dare you not want to go home with me, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know
who I am.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, it's
my
cool. It's
dad
fine.
has a Mazda.
It's right there. Don't you want to see it? That automatically makes me fuckable. Anyway, so when they're forming like their circle and they each say what they want, she says that she wants to be able to love herself. Gosh, I wrote it down. She wants to be able to love herself and not care if anyone else loves her, especially people like Chris. But then it's sort of like that her real intention was for him to love her.
But then she turned around and went, even Chris, and pulls out a picture of him, and it's like, he's just so cute. And
yeah.
And so that kind of morphs into a love spell that gets put on Chris, and the next day at school, he is
a zombie, obsessed. Yeah.
Following her around and just absolute fuckboy, and yeah.
It was funny, you know. That was like,
it was kind of a good moment of, you're laughing about it and stuff like that, but it's at the moment, like, I always felt uncomfortable about that. It's like, well, I mean, you can't make somebody love you. The genie says you can't do that. So, because then it's like, well, it's not like it's real. It's just whatever. But it took away his free will, and so it's like, at that point, anything that he does, including when he attempts to rape her later on in the movie, like, it's not something that he has full control over. So I mean, I feel, and then that leads to, Sarah goes to the rest of the coven, and it's like, Chris tried to rape me, and that sends Nancy off to, she tracks him down and then kills him because you tried to rape my friend, which, had he not been under a love spell and did all of that, I would have been like, good shot, maybe, theoretically in movie land, but he didn't have full control over his faculties because of that. You can make the argument of, he did what he would naturally do or whatever, but the fact is that, like, his free will was taken away in this moment, and anything that he does after that, it isn't because he genuinely wants to be with Sarah. It's because he has been magicked to think that he wants to be with her. So and at that point, like, you see all of the spells start to go off course, and they start to go bad, and they work too well, and that's kind of what happened, is that spell started to work too well, and I have to be with you, and which is that to me is also another thing that teenage girls are scared of, because it was terrifying to me, is what happens when things are getting to that point, and you're like, okay, we need to tap the brakes and let's return to our corners or whatever, and then they're like, well, no, I'm still ready to go. Well, I'm not.
You're like, I can't be the be all end all of your life, and they're like, but you are, and it's a scary reality for people. I mean, whenever, because throughout the movie, I feel like they did a good job of showing the spells unravel, And then with this one particularly, because the way he even gets her out of the house is he calls her and he's like, just have dinner with me. Just come on. It's no big deal. We're just going to go out to dinner. So the next scene, they're just in his car. She's venting and he's just standing there staring at her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's like pretending to be interested in what she has to say, but his brain isn't there. So he's just like, yeah. And then he's like, don't you know sometimes I feel like we're the same person? And she's like, no, I don't really understand. And then he's like, I was just thinking the same thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like, that was the creepiest thing that someone could say. They tried to make it kind of funny with that being the statements, but it was also like, he literally doesn't know what he's talking about, though. And
he's just word vomit.
Yes. And then whenever she's like, aren't we supposed to go to a restaurant? This was creepy. And I forgot that he did this. He just stared in her eyes and he went, no. And he blinks twice. And I was just like, that would have made me want to just like hop out the car.
I'd have been like, great, I'm hungry. Let's like, I only said yes because I'm hungry. Let's go get some damn food.
Right? But it was like clear that his intention was like just, and then he's like, now that I have you, I'm not letting go.
Yeah.
Another scary thing to say to somebody. Yeah. And then, you know, he wants to give her a back rub. She gets out of the car. And then it turns into a potential rape. And I was just like, I can't imagine if you were watching that and you have triggers with something like that, because I'm sorry, I don't want to go there, but that's what I was thinking, because it was just like, went from all I can do is care about you and think about you, and he's like, I don't think, all I do is feel, and I'm like, they just keep on throwing these lines in there.
Like,
so even though he did all of this, it wasn't even him, because his brain is gone.
Those are still red flags that you've got to be aware of. And it's one of those things where it's like, you watch it as an adult and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's still...
Like, that's rough, buddy.
And then that scene where Nancy kills him, and that speech. Great speech. Horrible solution to this problem.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Because she told him, you don't know how to treat women like anything but whores. And that's got to stop. That would have been great if she was like saying this and yelling it at him at school, telling him off, don't you fuck with my friends like this, and da da da. Instead of, fuck you, and then he dies. You know, it's just...
Yeah. It's like, well, okay, lesson learned, I guess.
Right.
He'll definitely never do that again.
Because he can't. Because he's dead. So, you know, I feel like in movies like this, they sometimes can make you really hate like the bad characters. So when something bad like that happens, you're just like, But I don't know. In this case, it was just like, she totally
I feel like that's the way we were supposed to feel about it.
Yeah,
like that's like the racist bully. We're supposed to be like, yeah, bitch, lose your hair. But you know, it's like a one of those things too, where it's like, yeah, that's gonna be really scary. You should probably stop being an asshole. You know, like, well, we'll go there. Let's go there. We're talking about the racist bully. Yeah,
let's do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's Marsha Brady.
Marsha fucking Brady.
Marsha Brady. I was like, and then this is like props to the movie, because they put a black girl on the swim team.
They made her a goth jock.
Yes, they made her a goth jock. But being the only black girl in the school, and black person, I tried to like look in the back. I didn't see a single...
She's the only black person in the entire movie.
Yeah, because they don't ever show her parents.
They don't ever show her family.
Ever. And they could have.
They could have.
Whenever what's her name showed up at her house because she was like, oh my God, he was going to rape me. That could have been a perfect time to show a parent into the door. But then I read that her role was written originally to be a white person, and then she tried out for it, so they changed it and changed her story. I guess they forgot. I don't know.
Still could have hired parents.
They don't even have to say anything. They just be there. Or just say her name. Rochelle, it's your friend. Or I don't know. Or be like, oh, honey, what's wrong? Come in. Something. They even had, what's her name's parents talk? I always forget her name.
Bonnie,
thank you. They even had her mom talk.
Are you girls getting high?
That was so funny. That was so funny.
That's my mom.
Yeah, she was such a mom. Like, that was just the funniest line. And I'm like, what do you expect her to say? Yes, mom, we are. Get out. Like, come on. But they don't ever show Rochelle's parents, right? Rochelle's the only black person in the city, according to the movie. She has to deal with racism. And whenever they made it so blatant, I thought that was interesting. Meaning, whenever she's, getting dressed after they have swim practice, and she's like, there's a pubic hair in my brush. Oh, it's one of Rochelle's little nappy hairs, right? And they laugh. And she's like, why are you doing this? Do you think that this is funny? And she's like, you really want to know? I don't like Negroids. Like, she came out and said, I'm a racist bitch.
Like, she said it all.
She said it. Boom. Just like that. And I was like, okay. What do you do, right? And then whenever
form a coven and make her hair fall out. That's what you do. As you do.
Because,
because those are options.
Those are, that's the easy, that's how you combat racism. You didn't know.
But that's what's still there. We don't have enough covens in the world. That's imperfect love and perfect trust.
So, like, they make her hair fall out. And then whenever it first starts falling out, she does, like, the perfect dive, right? Like, no splash. And the coach is like, this is weird. And
oh my gosh, a black person is an amazing athlete. I mean, that's a horrible stereotype, because there's plenty of black folks that are not academic or not athletically inclined. But
there are a lot of us that are. I mean, but you just didn't see a black swimmer though at the time, So
there have been some black swimmers. Oh my gosh, there were some in the last Olympics. Like, didn't they break some records?
Oh yeah, and there's going to be some in the next Olympics. Yeah, but over 20 years ago. Yeah, that's why that one movie was a big movie about the black swim team in the 60s. That was a big deal. I don't remember the name of that movie, but anyway.
You say something about a black Olympic team. The only thing I can think of immediately is Cool Runnings.
No, it wasn't an Olympic team.
It was the
Jamaican
like, bobsled team. I'm
a
horrible person.
We all love that. We all sang that stupid song. Some folks say, they can't believe Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. I swear. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry. It's not my fault.
Oh, did someone put a low spell on you too?
Okay, back to Rochelle. What killed me about Rochelle's story was they didn't show anybody else. She's the only black person there ever. And then at the end, like, whenever she's at the party and Marsha, I don't remember her name in the movie, I'm calling Marsha Brady, goes up to her and is like, Rochelle, how's it going? And Rochelle's like, fine. And then that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the point.
The point was to show that she was going to grow and to stop maybe being such a horrible racist. I feel like that was probably the thing. Like here's the good that happened from your spell.
You cured racism in one girl because
Yeah,
she said
one person. I don't know. I smart people to me who have a lot more better thoughts have said better things on this. They've put together other stuff on this. I mean,
and that's that.
Excuse me. It's hot. Hot in the closet office today. I should drink more wine.
Yes, that.
Hit my teeth.
So yeah, and then
you don't have to be smart to be on the internet.
You don't.
That's gonna be like one of her tag phrases.
No, you don't. It's
proof.
But like, so Rochelle had to deal with racism in the movie, and then Rachel True actually dealt with racism involving the movie.
Oh.
Because
so like some of the things that I liked about Rachel True is that she is from this world, and
right.
she does practice in the occult, and I think she has her own tarot book.
Yeah, I think so.
Or
I think
about to be out or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like she knows what she's talking about, but whenever they were talking about doing like the reunion for the 20-year whatever anniversary of it, and they had Neve Campbell. Oh my God, I just drew a blank. What are their names?
Fairuza Balk. And I think it's Robin. I think it's Robin Tooney. I think that's her name. Yes. I think that's Sarah's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had the 3 white chicks, and they didn't have Rachel True, and they tried to play it as, oh yeah, she wasn't available. And then she came out on Twitter and was like, no, number 1, I'm available. Number 2, if I wasn't, I would have made myself available because this is important to me. And it's important that I be there for our fans and things like that. And so no one even bothered to contact me. And then like the organizers for that specific con were like, yeah, you know what, we're going to pass on that because this could have been handled a different way. She just really showed her ass on this. And it's like, no, she didn't. That's a proper amount of ass to be shown.
And
it's definitely acceptable.
Yes.
Y'all the ones that screwed up.
Yes. She exposed y'all's asses and what y'all did. And your response is, first of all, their response to me was like, they were looking for a reason. Yeah. They were looking for a reason to not invite her anyway. And so they were like, okay, great. We're going to make it seem like she's unprofessional, which is a term that they really like to put on Black women who would dare to say, hey, guess what? This isn't fair. How dare you? Like they do that. So, and then whenever I was reading about that, I also read that like, I'm almost 100% positive I know which cable channel did this, but I don't want to say the wrong cable channel. But they were like showing, they did like a synopsis of the movie, and they said that the movie was about 3 girls. And then, you know how they do the parentheses and they put like the names of the actresses? And they put the 3 white actresses and they left her.
No.
I'm dead serious.
That's so stupid.
And I was like, it is clearly about 4 girls.
Like, that's one of the major plot points is them getting their 4th and then coming together. And
yes,
that's one of the things, is them all being there for each other and being supportive. And it's like the first half of the movie is amazing. Even whenever they go through and do the whole coven thing, I absolutely love it. Because there's that whole bonding element and everybody coming together, being friends, and because that's always an exciting thing, you know. And it's like, oh, friends, you know, and you know, so I mean, I loved that part of it. It's whenever they start kind of being like, oh, I'm scared, Sarah, and that kind of shit. That's whenever it's kind of like, oh my god, these guys that wrote this movie think women can't be friends because there has to be an alpha woman and whatever.
Right. Yeah,
like,
it gets, especially like that bathroom.
I think the whole like rom-com thing where you can't be friends with another woman because she's a competition, and it's like, that's not how things work. Like if you go to a new office and there's one other woman there, like, hello, new friend.
Right. Hi. Yes.
Please tell me which one of these assholes I should like not bend over in front of. Can you give me a heads up with that? Can you maybe like let me know which one of these guys I can't eat a banana in front of? Because like, have you already figured that out? Okay, like we're gonna keep each other apprised of that.
Yes.
And you know, that kind of thing. Like that's what happens whenever you're the only two women in a workplace. It's not a and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that's always how it goes. There's always going to be exceptions to every rule, because there's always going to be that one chick that has that kind of ingrained sexism that says, oh no, I'm not like other girls, I'm different, I can hang with the guys, I don't have any girlfriends. That you don't have any girlfriends, not because you don't want them. I'm going to tell you that right now. Is because they don't want your ass to be their friend, because you're the one with the drama. Okay.
Thank you. Every single time I've ran into a girl who's like, oh, I just have guy friends because I'm just one of the guys and I don't like the drama.
I mean, they are the drama. I have guy friends that, you know, it's like I'm not opposed to having girlfriends or whatever. I have guys that I get along with. It just so happens they're dudes. I don't fucking know. Well, I mean, and then you have the same idiots who are like, oh no, men and women can't be friends without wanting to fuck each other. It's like, really?
I promise you that. I promise. I promise you we can. No, I feel the same way. Like, I have my guy friends and I have my girlfriends. And it's never been like a thing to me, you know? I never got it. I never understood that. I never understood that at all. But so when you see it in these dynamics, you're just sort of like, you know, you get a little like, is that what they're trying to say? Whenever it turns into a conflict. Yeah,
because it's like, it really isn't a conflict. I don't.
Right. But I do feel like when I watched it again, they were dropping these nuggets of, you know, that they're gonna butt heads. Like when
they told her to shoplift.
Yes, but even before that, when they were first in the park at night, and she was talking about how she would do things, but it would always get messed up. You know, Nancy was like, yeah, right. First thing. And then whenever the spell was working on Chris, like that first scene that we see when the spell is working on Chris, Rochelle's in the back, like doing this to Nancy, like, Nancy, look, her spell's working. And Nancy's just like, you know. And then when they're in the park,
white trash.
Yeah. And that brings me to the next scene when she's like, they're all like, you did it, you should see her, her hair is balding and you made Chris fall in love with you, and look, you know, Bonnie can show her arms without any scars. Which they never showed her spell not working, did they? My whole
No.
point with this was like Nancy stormed off because she was just like, "Meh." And that's when they were like, "You're right, Nancy. Sorry," but they don't ever show her spell not working.
Yeah, they never show her scars coming back, I don't think.
Yeah.
There was the part where she was like, at the end, by the power 3x3 or whatever, and it like just like was like an illusion or whatever, and she saw it like all over her face or whatever. It just hiccuped. Great.
You're right.
This bottle's almost gone.
You just be like, "This is great wine. Wow.
This is wonderful. All right. So, in conclusion, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Still overall one of my favorite girl flick movies. Definitely, I definitely love it. The first half of the movie, amazing, hands down. Definitely one of my favorites. It does start to go shit whenever people are like, "Oh no, there can only be one cool girl," or I don't know.
Yeah.
But is it problematic? Sure. Yes. As are many things from the 90s. Yes, of course. There's the 90s. Are there some things that probably could have been done better? Yes, sure.
Of course.
Are the costumes part of that? No.
No. Nancy's party dress when she went to the party to go kill Chris. I was like, every time I see it, I'm like,
kill him again.
I want all of it. I want that whole thing.
Yes.
All of it.
Mm-hmm. Even as an elder goth, seeing the old lady in the bookstore or whatever, and I was like, I'll take that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, I wish I could find a metaphysical store that looks like that. Like, there's one close by. They don't look like that. It just looks like a regular store. I'm like,
first of all, like I've seen them, and they are like in a regular shopping mall, or not a shopping mall, a strip mall.
Yeah,
and they've got the glass or whatever. It's like I feel like if they start trying to look like that, they're gonna look like oh my god, what's the name of that? They're gonna look all kitschy and like Trading Post Company. What's it? It's like, you know what I mean?
I know you're talking about. I get that.
Cannot remember the name of it.
I can't either.
Well, there was something readily available on our hands that could tell us. I don't involve doing stuff. I don't know. I'm not good with that. I don't want to do that. Like that.
Not worth the effort.
All right, so we have a minute. All right.
You're
so we're gonna wrap this up. We're good.
I still want to see that.
Okay. We've got less than a minute here. Overall, we love it. Watch it.
It is a great movie.
We love it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, in conclusion, stay weird.
Bye.
Bye.